What's good, AP Reacts? We back with another video, and man, I'm so excited to do this one today, man. I'm so excited to do this video today, man. Because today we have Officer Tatum versus 20 black liberals. Now, if you don't know who Officer Tatum is, I'm not overly familiar with him, but I'm not a casual to. I've heard his name before. I've listened to a couple of his interviews before. Like hour-long interviews, just because I like to get perspective on somebody before I make a judgment on them. But man, like, it's gonna be a great interview because I already know him, and we have similar thoughts. It's like 50-50. Like 50% of the things I agree with him on, and then 50% I disagree with kind of how he goes about it. I think his intention is the right way, but also I feel like a lot of people I grew up in the black community, so a lot of people are just like, we just get passed down generational, like it's generational misinformation. That's what I call it. Like, we get misinformed because people we respect give us advice, but just because we respect them doesn't mean that their advice is accurate. You know what I mean? And you can not respect somebody and their advice be completely what you need to follow. So, man, he gonna challenge a lot of a lot of the black ideologies in society today, and I'm super excited to get into it. So enough yapping. Let me let y'all get to the video, which I came for. Yeah, let's do it.
Dance and to teach people how to dance. So he bought a .dance domain name with squares.
I feel like you want to be confrontational more than you want to get to the bottom of a conversation. If you're 25 and under, the leading cause of death for you is being murdered by another black person.
Think you foolish. That is the whole thesis of Up From Slavery.
No, it's
Did
not.
you read the book?
I did not read the book.
There you go. Then you don't know what you're talking about.
know,
You are uneducated.
To say that Donald Trump is racist is the craziest thing I've heard.
Donald Trump.
Have you ever met Donald Trump?
Is systemic racism holding the black community back, or has it become an excuse to avoid personal responsibility? Now,
I think it's like 80-20. Like, maybe if he was back in the 50s and the 40s and the 30s and the 70s, even 80s, even maybe a little bit, 90s even maybe, yeah, I give you that. But I don't agree. I think it's more personal choices and personal. Basically, a lot of black people were encouraged to. We don't have a lot of great reflection. Not we, because I don't know it, but I say we because I'm black. But and that's the community I come from and the community I grew up in. And I noticed a lot of from my own family to strangers to neighbors. Like, a lot of people don't have a good self-reflection skills. Like, most socially, at least, most people don't have the enough, and just other areas. Like, most people don't have the ability to, you know what I mean? Like, have a situation happen, and when you're out of that situation, step back and dissect. Dang, why did that happen? You may not have found 100% of the reason why it happened, but at least 60 to 70. Like, I like to know what part did I play. What part were just circumstances? What part did they play? So that way I can know how to move forward, because I don't want to keep repeating the same dumb experiences. That's why I do it. Not because I'm overly analytical. I mean, I am, but it's more so just because I don't want to keep experiencing the same things over and over again. And I feel like I have a better chance of fixing that than just saying, oh, it's them. Or, oh, it was just the environment. Like, sometimes it could be me. Sometimes it could be them. Sometimes it could be the environment. Sometimes it could be all three working together. You know what I mean? A lot of black people do not have that ability. They do not have the ability to be able to sit there and say, all right, why did this happen? And be able to say, maybe it could have been me. You know what I'm saying? Why I'm not where I'm at. Dang, why am I struggling? Why am I, you feel me? Why people, like, for example, people having kids when they're not financially ready. Why are you having 5 kids and you're not even nowhere near financially secure? That's not systemic. The system did not make you have that many kids. That was you, gang. That was you. So just stuff like that. But I'm gonna let him talk.
was a little too white to handle this topic, so you got me. I'm Paris Rose from Jubilee Media, and this is Surrounded, where one brave soul faces a room full of disagreeers. Today we're diving into policing in black communities, whether Republicans are better for the black community than Democrats, and the debate over systemic racism. I'm here with our featured guest, former police officer and conservative commentator, Brandon Tatum. I'm so happy to see you today. How you feeling?
I'm good. I'm blessed. I'm happy.
All right, you ready to take everyone on?
Oh, we're about to get busy in here. So.
Oh, I love to hear it. Are you guys ready? Yeah! They sound ready. All right, let's go.
And I'm gonna last thing before I let them talk. Sorry, I'm trying to multitask. The last thing before I let them talk. My thing is, okay, everybody's advice is not the same level of doesn't have the same level of research behind it. And so, for example, right, I don't know any of these people's professions, any of they whatever. But this dude was a cop, bro. So that means you're coming across all types of cultures, peoples, environments, circumstances. Just off of that alone, you know that he has a more diverse perspective on people in just different circumstances. Most of these people only have been around other black people, maybe here and there, been around other people, but most of them only been around black people. So my thing is, you've only been around black people. How could you give a perspective on what we could do to improve when you only and not only that, you don't see any improvement that the black community can make? You think everything we do is justified? Like nothing, like as a community we could do that's embarrassing, shameful, disrespectful, nothing. You see what I'm saying? So that's, anyway, let's get into it though.
Hi, I'm Officer Tatum, and I'm the host of the Officer Tatum Show, and I'm surrounded by black liberals.
Thanks, Mike.
See you next month.
So you can get these delivered? It's literally water.com. Your favorite water brands, on schedule, delivered right to your door. They even have 5-gallon bottles too. Whoa, hey buddy, Shingo.
My first surrounded claim is Trump and Republicans are better for the black community than Democrats.
And on this claim, I'm gonna watch a little bit of it, but I don't really know about policies and the parties like that, so I can't really comment on this like that. So I'm gonna watch like maybe I'm gonna watch like one person on this one, and I'm gonna skip to the other prompt. So basically, what my plan is, just so y'all know, is I'm gonna watch, a little bit of each prompt. You know what I'm saying? Because the video is hella long. It's like 1 hour and 30 minutes, so out 2 hours actually. So I'm gonna watch a little bit of each prompt just to kind of give you a little taste, and then you're gonna go from there.
Like to be the first debater? Get to that chair in 3, 2, 1.
Naima, nice to meet you.
Naima,
Yeah.
nice to meet you as well.
Before I do my rebuttal, I would just like to know why you think that.
Well, there's a myriad of reasons. I think that conservative policies are more beneficial to the black community, is more beneficial to America, which black people are part of America. And I think that policies like limiting immigration or illegal immigration, getting illegal immigrants out of this country, lowering taxes, all benefit black people as a whole. Religious freedom, you name it, every single policy that I can think about that Republicans have implemented, that they stand for.
But this is what I don't like, bro. Like, I'm gonna let it go, bro. I'm gonna comment. It's a reaction channel. Suck it up. You feel me? Why are they reacting like that? Because I was taught growing up was Republican is white, Democrat is black. That's all I was taught growing up. That's all I was taught. Till you get older, start researching for yourself. You like, well, damn, like Democrats was the slave party at first. Like, you feel me? Like, they was the slave party. That was the party meant for the slaves, or not for the slaves, but the party that was for keeping slaves in slavery. You know what I'm saying? Just that's the history of it. And it's just stuff like that. Like, I didn't know that. You know what I'm saying? And I think some former president or whatever, I forgot his name, or maybe don't quote me, quote, but he basically saying like, I'm gonna have these voting Democrat for the next some years, you know? So just stuff like that, it's just like they have these blinders on and they're just so brainwashed. Like, I can see off their reaction, they didn't even say nothing, but just their body language is giving like, man, what this dude talking about? But I'm gonna let him go. Let him go.
The values they stand for are all better off for black people than Democrats could ever dream of.
How have you okay. But first of all, religious freedom is not just a Republican policy. I just want
The
that's just in
Republicans
the
are far
Constitution.
more believe in the freedom of religion than Democrats could ever dream of.
I don't want to harp on that. That's in the Constitution. That's just not true.
From
but
every single aspect of life. No.
But I just want to focus on which one of Trump's policies specifically has been designed to help the black community.
Well, the First Step Act has been designed to reverse the effects of over-policing from the past.
He has done that.
The First Step Act, yes, it was.
Okay.
To allow for people who were incarcerated with sentencing for drug dealing
Right.
and less violent crimes for them to have some relief. My uncle got out on the First Step Act.
Okay.
Urban revitalization,
Yeah.
injecting money into these inner city communities. Permanent funding for HBCUs, which Barack Obama never did. Donald Trump implemented.
Okay.
I mean, I can go down the list.
Yeah, so
and I think that lowering taxes and all the other benefits that Americans get
Yeah.
is also beneficial to black
So
people.
it's funny because I've watched some of your videos, I've heard these talking points before, and I actually looked into all of these, and there's not a ton of quantitative impact on how those have actually affected just the black community. But let's talk about the Republican Party and Trump and his policies as a whole. Do you think that Trump reposting a video in which one of his supporters screams white power was beneficial to the black community?
I'm not familiar with some video that he posted.
Well, I mean, you should be.
Let's talk about Democrat policy.
You should be.
Let's talk about Democrat
No,
policy.
see, no. Now you're obfuscating. You are the one who has the burden.
It says right
I'm
here.
Sorry, I do not want to be interrupted.
It says right here
I do not want to be
that
interrupted.
Trump and
You are the
Republicans
one.
Bro, it's a debate. What is she talking about? I don't want to be interrupted. Bro, we're both interrupting each other. Like, stop. This is not no place for ego. This is a place for information, fact, fiction, not, oh, this is what I think, this is what I feel. If you're not educated on this topic, if you have not done the proper research or have not looked properly, I just feel like if you're doing a debate game and you can't respectfully look at both sides of where people's coming from, you can't really have a genuine, honest debate. For example, say if somebody doesn't believe in God, I believe firmly in God. You feel me? Respect them, follow them, need them, include them, all those things, right? But if somebody doesn't believe, I'll be like, damn, why do you think that way? And then they'll say, oh, well, this happened to me when I was younger. This happened to me when I was younger. I'll be able to see, okay, I see why he feels that way. I would never claim that. I would never say that. But I see how you can come to that conclusion. She's not even trying to hear where he's coming from. She already concluded in her mind that he's wrong. She already concluded just by the talking. You can tell she concluded that he is wrong. She's not even hearing. She's not even hearing what he's saying. She just has, her ears are basically closed. See what I'm saying? So that's why I just don't like when people come in with all this passion, but they don't have the education or they're not the psychological skills to understand, okay, let me at least see where he's coming from before I have a rebuttal. She just automatically assumed he's wrong. I'm finna prove him wrong. That's it. You know? And that makes it makes it hard for the audience to watch, you know?
Yes, exactly. Policy. So the burden of proof is on you. Yes. No, this is how a debate works. You've made a claim that you have to substantiate, and you have yet to do that.
I am wrong. So how are you correct in that Democrat policies are better than Republican policies?
Well, actually, do you want to know my personal belief is that the Democrats are fundamentally kind of apathetic to the needs of black people, while Republicans are openly antagonizing the black community.
Give me an example.
So, I mean, an
policy position is negative towards black people that Republicans implement?
Trump this year intentionally got rid of the disparate impact analysis. So what the disparate impact analysis does is that it analyzes laws that were made neutrally, policies that were intended to be neutral, to make sure that there were not any racial disparities as an effect of that policy, right? Accidentally. So Trump has removed the protection for the disparate impact.
I mean, I'm finna stop saying that. I'm not tweaking. I don't think that sounds bad. He basically saying he don't want the opportunity for no race to get an advantage, basically. Is that what I heard, right? Let's go back. He basically said he removed the ability for a race to be an impact into why policies or something, she said. I don't know. Let me go back. That sounds pretty. I'm not a Trump fan. I'm not a Trump. You feel me? I don't know enough about politics to pick a side. I'm not even gonna cap to you. You feel me? But my thing is, you cannot like somebody as a person, but they can be a good leader. You feel me? You see what I'm saying? Just like somebody can be a great artist, but you don't really respect them as a person. Somebody can be a great hooper, you don't really respect them as a person. You feel me? It's kind of like be a great content creator, but you don't really respect them as a person. Those are two separate things, you know. So I just kind of let me just hear what you guys say though.
It analyzes laws that were made neutrally, policies that were intended to be neutral, to make sure that there were not any racial disparities as an effect of that policy, right? Accidentally. So Trump has removed the protection for the disparate impact analysis. So we don't know if the policies that we're enacting are disproportionately hurting the black community or not.
That doesn't make any sense. Any policy.
It doesn't make any sense. I agree.
No, what
it's
you're
a bad
saying
idea.
does not make any sense because the policies that are implemented,
yes,
the majority of the ones that are in Congress are agreed upon by the House and the Senate.
Right.
Democrats and Republicans.
Yes.
And so with that being said, there's black people represented. There's all kinds of people represented in creating our laws and policies.
But that's the point.
So what are you saying that they're not considering whether or not it has a disparate effect on black community?
So here's the thing. When you create a policy, obviously you are creating it in good faith. But we do not know always how that policy is going to affect the population.
Give me an example of a policy.
Can I finish talking?
Give me an example of a policy.
But I'm trying to explain
I'm running out of time.
So the point of the disparate analysis report is to check to make sure that the laws that we implement in good faith don't end up hurting the black community by accident. Why would you get rid of that?
Why do you think he got rid of it?
Because he's racist.
To say that Donald Trump is racist is the craziest thing I've heard.
Donald Trump.
Have you ever met Donald Trump personally?
No.
You don't know him.
No, so
Why would
you've
you
met
say
Donald
I've
Trump.
met Donald Trump several times?
So you're basing whether or not he's racist
You
just
don't
on
have any
your personal...
evidence. You're saying because he allegedly got rid of some desperate impact analysis that somehow that has something to do with race and it only affects black
But
people.
your evidence is anecdotal. Oh, Trump was nice to me one time, therefore he's not a racist.
I have no evidence to believe that Trump is a racist.
Because you are
Where's the evidence that Trump is a racist?
racism. Okay, I'll give you more evidence.
Give me
In
evidence.
1973, his company was sued for violating the Fair Housing Act by openly discriminating
What was
against
the
black
findings?
renters.
What was the findings of that?
He was actually forced to settle.
Let's read it. Let's just read it. I don't know what they're talking about, so I have no dog in this fight. Let's just see. In 1973, the U.S. Department of Justice sued Fred Trump, Donald Trump, and Trump Management, Inc., alleging violation of the Fair Housing Act and operation of approximately 39 New York apartment buildings. The government relied partly on tests in which black applicants were told that no apartments were available, while white applicants were offered units. Okay.
Forced to settle?
Yes,
made
he
the
was forced to
decision
settle. No, he had
There
to
was
settle.
no finding of fault.
Why would someone settle
Was
if
it
they
finding
were
of
not
fault?
guilty?
You can make it.
Why would someone settle if he wasn't doing it?
Was there a determination?
Yes.
As well as accounts from other former employees describing racial coding of applicants, including a C for colored. The Trumps denied discrimination, retained attorney Roy Kahn, and filed a $100 million counterclaim that was dismissed. The case was resolved in 1975 through a consent order without an adjudication or an admission of liability. I don't know what none of that means, but it basically saying that there was discrimination on the applicants for their apartments. But back to what I said earlier, 1975. Of course, there was way more obstacles back then. Now, today, could he have learned from back then? And could he be racist? I don't know. I don't know the dude. Maybe he could have been. I don't know. I don't really pay attention to politics. I don't really pay attention like that, you know. But if that's what people talking about, systemic racism. Okay, that makes sense, right? A person in power doing things that prevent a person from getting ahead. But again, 1975, gang. Nowadays, 2026, like. It's so hard to get away with that because it's too much wokeism in the world. People are not going to get away with that easily. Like, you have to really do some finessing to get away with that. Like, you know what I mean?
He was at fault.
Also forced to...
No. Was there a determination in court that he was at fault?
He settled, so they didn't have a determination in court. He got out of it by settling, which is what you do when you are guilty, but you don't want to go to court.
That's not the way the system works.
Settling is. Yes,
no,
to
it's
settle
not.
out. Yes.
He had a dissent decree, which they agreed that he would implement certain things in his organization. There was no fault granted.
Also, that's false. People don't just settle because they're guilty. Some people settle because they don't want to. They have other stuff they got going on. They don't want to have it long and drawn out. They don't want to. You feel me? And I get I mean, if I'm not guilty, I'm not settling. You feel me? But you feel me? If it could be a 50-50 toss up, I get it. You feel me? Or if you feel like it's going to cost a whole bunch on the back end, you're like, fuck it, I just gave you money. It's plenty of people in the world who have just gave money to their accusers just because they want to shut them up because they're like, all right, I don't got time for all this. Just, you know, it's not all because you're guilty, though. Sometimes it is, for sure. I'm not going to be ignorant. Sometimes it is. But I think a lot of times it's been just because they just didn't want to, you feel me?
Not
What were the things that he had to implement in his company?
Recruiting. It was a form of it was that
I think you're thinking about a different lawsuit against the Trump administration.
He had to make sure that they have job applications available to minorities.
No, this wasn't about jobs. This was about the Trump Corporation, the real estate. Yes, they violated the Fair Housing Act because...
Maybe we talking about something different.
Well, there were 2 times he was sued for racism.
I only know of one time.
Yeah, well, you should learn about the other one because it was bad too. Yes.
I don't think you know what you're talking about.
I don't think you know.
The dissent decree, which was established, there was no findings of Donald Trump being a racist. And his organization has been without fault.
No,
you cannot find a court document that says that Donald Trump officially discriminated against anybody.
He literally marked...
What's your next one?
He literally marked black applicants.
What's your next one? What's your next example of Trump being a racist?
When he reposted the Obamas as monkeys.
Now, he did not... He already said that he did not post that. It was somebody on his staff. And
on February 5th, 2026, Donald Trump's Truth Social account shared a 62-second video pushing 2020 election conspiracy theories that briefly depicted former Barack Obama as apes. After initial White House attempted to dismiss the connection from the red group, Democrats senior Republican led the post being delayed roughly 12 hours later.
It wasn't even about that. That was a real...
It was on his account.
And then when it came out, he denounced it. He said it was wrong.
It was on his account already.
One of the staffers posted it.
Why would one of his staffers?
The White House said the upload was a staff error, and Trump told reporters aboard Air Force One that while he approved the initial portion of the video concerning election claims, neither nor his staff had reviewed the end before it was published.
Have that, even if it wasn't
You're
him.
making the
Why
post
would
sound
he
like
not
the post was
post it?
about that. It was a meme created by somebody else. And
Are
at the
you
end
really
of the post,
defending depicting black people as monkeys? Like, that's crazy.
and Hillary
That's
Clinton,
crazy.
and Hillary Clinton was
Oh, and
a
now you're gonna point
pig, and it was all kind of people depicted as animals. It
Yeah.
wasn't just about Barack Obama. Did Donald Trump
Has
make the video?
any other president done that
Did Donald
ever?
Trump make the video?
Has any other president done that
No,
ever?
you're blaming him. Did Donald Trump make the video?
I don't know if he made it, but
No,
it
he
doesn't
did
matter.
not.
It's about what he posts.
Did he denounce what that represented?
If I posted something that said "kill all of X people," that's
So-
what I
no, no,
believe,
no,
right?
it's not true.
Even
Somebody-
if I didn't type it out,
That's not
and
true.
Put it in Canva and then post it.
If somebody
it's
posted,
still what I believe.
if somebody posted some offensive on your account and you denounce it, is that a fair statement to say you don't believe in that?
No, I don't think that's true. I would like to be held accountable. If somebody,
he said he didn't believe
if
it.
I hired someone to post on my behalf and they posted racist statements,
And you said,
Yeah, I don't know about that, but I ain't gonna lie. If he did post that, that is kind of crazy. As a president, you're not like no underground. You feel me? You are a whole president of the world, and like you're posting something like, well, like nah, I ain't gonna lie. You gotta do more fact checking on that game. I ain't gonna lie.
I'm gonna have to
and you
pause
took it
here.
down,
No.
I
and
have
you
to
told
pause
them,
here.
I'm sorry.
and you said to the world, you don't believe that to be
Officer
true.
Tatum, we have to pause here. All right, you have been voted out by the majority. Thank you so much for your
Thank you,
time. If you would like to be the next debater, get to the chair in 3, 2, 1.
You travel a lot for work, but that doesn't mean you should be a part-time travel agent. There must be a better... No, I'm not gonna say it. Let me just show you. This is the Von Edge, the personal assistant for frequent business
Hey, how you?
So, I'd like to talk about Trump and the Republicans, not specifically on Trump, but focusing upon the history of the Republican Party because he's just the latest iteration of that, okay?
Yeah, let's do it.
So, the Republican Party has a proven track record of giving platforms to sellouts who promote a message that harms black people.
Who is that? Who is the sellout that you, give me an example.
Well, there are actually quite a few, but I'll start with the
Well, let's
earliest
start with this
example.
premise. The first black legislators,
Right.
or the first black people in Congress,
Right.
House of Representatives, were all Republicans.
Right, so let me explain that to you.
Is that a fact pattern?
Right, yes. So basically what happened is the last of the radical Republicans, which was a segment of the Republican Party that passed the 14th Amendment, all of the amendments that gave black people the right to vote and ensured that slaves would not be disenfranchised. He died in August 11th.
No. Black people, I mean, Republicans unanimously voted.
He died in 1868 when the 14th Amendment was passed.
The
And then guess
Republicans
what?
as a whole
Right.
voted unanimously. The Democrats did not.
Right, but guess what? After the radical Republican faction left Congress.
I ain't gonna lie, y'all. I'm gonna skip past the Republicans, the politics stuff, 'cause I have no idea what they're talking about. I gotta go to the topics I really actually know about so I can talk about it. That's good. This is a claim I really want to get into. It's a claim I really want to get into. Just get it.
Good in the black community than harm.
All right, if you would like to be the next debater, get to the chair in 3, 2, 1.
I want to hear why you think that police do more good in the black communities than harm.
Well, when you look at the functionality of law enforcement, meaning that the people who perpetuate crime in the black community are arrested by law enforcement officers, removing them from the community, removing the predators, the drug dealers, and all of that from the community, which is a good thing. And I cannot name other things that are harmful that outweigh all of the good that the police officers do.
How did the police first come about?
Be more
Slave
detailed
patrol.
than that. That's
Slave
not
patrol.
true.
Yeah, it's
The police,
literally
that's
true.
two
But
different
fact check it.
functionalities.
Fact check it. It's
That's two.
But even if, bro, even if today, would you rather us not have cops? Are you dumb? Like, y'all gotta think, bro. What's the alternative? Not having cops? What the fuck do you think will happen in the world, gang? Like, the only reason why people don't act right is because they know it's a fear of consequence. And fear of going to jail, getting locked up, or some fear of something getting taken away from them that they value. That's what keeps people in check. You feel me? For the most part, you're outside of incentive. That's what keeps people in check. So what are you saying? Oh, no cops? First of all, there's bad everything. There's bad art. There's bad apples and there's people in entertainment. There's bad billionaires. There's bad doctors. There's bad seeds in every group. Black men, black women, white men. Every group there's bad seeds. So are you saying again? I think the bad seeds get portrayed more. Basically, what I mean is this: forget all what you're saying. If you've never seen nothing on the internet, right, and only went off personal experiences, I guarantee if you met a cop at least 10 times in your life, I guarantee you at least 8 times out of that 10, it was a cool interaction if you was cool with them. Yeah, you might have had a weird cop every once in a while doing some weird shit, looking at you weird, but overall, 8 out of 10, if you was checking your energy and make sure you was cool and you not being all guarded and what you looking at, stuff like that, I guarantee you're going to have a decent interaction with them. Like, come on, bro. Like, these people are literally throwing themselves into the line of fire every day. You're more of a coward than them. You're sitting at home in your safe house. They're running out into the line of fire, protecting other people that they don't even know. So I would say they're more respectable than you. You see what I'm saying? You would never jump in front of a line for a stranger. They would. You see what I'm saying? So I don't know. But let me hear what he got to say though. He sound like the other lady. He already has a predetermined perspective on them, and he's kind of like, you know what I'm saying? He has a predetermined perspective, and that basically means no matter what evidence you give him contrary, he's going to believe what he believes because he came in already set on that and didn't even look at the other side.
The origins of slave patrols and modern day policing is completely different.
The origins of policing within the United States of America is not true.
Slave patrols were a foundational precursor to policing in the South, where they enforced slavery by capturing and escaped enslaved people, suppressing resistance, and policing black life. In the North, modern policing grew more from night watch systems and port and city patrols. Northern policing was not racially neutral, however. Our officers also enforced fugitive slave laws and other discriminating controls over black people. For sure. In the beginning, for sure, that's how it was. For sure.
From the slave patrol, they still use the same badges.
That's not true.
The stars on the.
That's not true.
That's
the
fine.
Functionality of slave patrols and the jurisdiction that slave patrols have versus the functionality and jurisdiction of law enforcement is completely different.
The entire premise of slave patrol. That's fine. Listen, okay, cool. So you don't think there's an issue with policing in the black community?
No.
You don't think there's an issue with stop and frisk?
No.
You don't think that there's an issue with like flock cameras and geo-tracking?
No.
Got it. Okay,
I think that helps eliminate crime.
Sure. Have you ever heard of the Veil of Darkness study?
No, I have not.
Okay. The Veil of Darkness study was a study that was completed where 95 million traffic stops were actually checked across the United States of America. Vast pool, right? The methodology accounted for the time of day, for traffic, location, different shifts. Would you like to know what they found in that study when it came to policing and black people?
That black people could do more traffic violations than other people.
No.
That is true.
Black people were stopped from...
Mind you, he is a cop, right? So I don't know this study. I haven't looked this shit up, so I don't know. But he is a former cop, gang. That's just like I'm a former barber, and I'm telling you, you cut somebody here, you got to make sure you telling, and you arguing him talking about, no, you got to do it like this, you got to do it like this. But I never cut hair, but I know more about cutting hair than you. What's up with that, bro? Why can't y'all respect that? Some people know more than others at certain topics, bro. It's simple. Like, I don't understand what's so difficult about that.
Traffic violation. Hold on, I got you.
Because they commit more traffic violations.
You don't know the study. How are you going to answer?
I know what other studies and statistical data points show.
Okay, then give me another study that actually. Oh, sure.
You think they're just pulling black people over just because they see a black person driving down the street?
Literally,
That's not true.
The Veil of Darkness study.
No evidence.
The Veil of Darkness study that was done by Stanford and backed up.
I'd have been like, did you get put over on the way here? Did you get put over on the way here? Did you get put over yesterday? Did you get put over last week? You pass a cop down there every day on the street, gang. So stop that bullshit, bro. Like, that shit's weird, bro. That shit's weird, gang.
By the CDC actually showed that what happens is during the day, police officers use racial bias because they can see people and they pull people.
I'm gonna finish my sentence. Made a traffic stop in your life.
Y'all ain't gonna lie, Tatum. You gotta let him finish the sentence, gang. You gotta let him finish, gang. Like, you gotta let him explain. Even if you believe he's wrong, you gotta let him finish, bro. Gotta at least let him get the thought out.
I'm literally
gonna let you finish.
They pull black people over during the day at a disproportionate rate than white people, but at nighttime, when you can't see and it's harder to tell someone's actual race, then the average drops and it equals out.
Okay,
they actually found that in the study, 95 million traffic violations, that when you can't see someone's race, you focus on the traffic violations versus the day you focus on the people.
Let me tell you why your study is flawed. For one reason, I was a police officer many years. I do traffic stops during the day, and you cannot always tell the race of a person during the day, no matter what. Secondary,
I agree.
They're secondary. When you are patrolling, majority of the black people that you engage with live in what? Black communities.
Over police.
So you're going to make an excuse. We can get to that.
I'm not making an
You're making an
excuse,
excuse.
I'm just telling you.
When you're in the black community, you only have options to pull over
Give me
black people.
any type of
Now, let me finish.
empirics that disagrees with the Veil of Darkness study.
Let me finish. I believe that there's clearly a flaw in what you're saying this study represents.
Sure.
Because
How can you
in the
critique
black
methodology if
community,
you haven't looked at it?
in the black community, I have plenty of other
You got trust me, bros.
touch. I did it for a living.
Yeah, that's cool.
And you
story,
did not.
bro.
So
like I've looked
and
at the information.
I'm telling you why the study. I'm telling you why the
Do
study
you
is
think your
wrong.
one-off experience is indicative of all policing around
I'm
the
telling
country?
you why your study is off. When you're looking at patrolling in black neighborhoods, you cannot. How are you going to make a fair comparison of how many white people pulled over versus black people when there's only black people present in the black neighborhood? The veil of darkness cannot get in the minds of a police officer and determine whether or not the police officer pulled a person over because of their color or the violation.
It literally
does not-
shows. If you look at the
doesn't
data
get in
set,
the mind
if you look at the
and
data set,
prove that a cop was looking at a black man
if you
and
look at the data set
racially
of the
targeting
Veil
him.
of Darkness study, it shows not only the reason why they were pulled over, but it shows
how do
the
you
ones
know
that
the
were
reason why-
thrown
how
out.
do you know the
They
reason why
were
they pulled over?
disproportionately pulled
No,
over.
disproportionality
and disproportionately
does not
pulled
speak
over,
to whether or
and
not
there
it's
was a
malicious.
disproportion of black violations that were thrown out.
It doesn't matter.
Why?
Disproportionality
Why
does
is
not.
it so many black people pulled over and
because
then
they
so
are
many of the
pulling-
violations were thrown out?
You gotta look at it like this. If you're looking at traffic stops across the country, different jurisdictions have different mandates and they have different standards for what they throw out as traffic violations. So you cannot make a generalization
You
across
know
the
what's
entire
consistent?
country.
Yes, you can. You know what's
No, you
consistent
cannot.
across the entire country?
No,
White
it's not.
supremacy.
That's
White supremacy
How does
is
white supremacy
consistent
have anything to do with a
across
traffic stop?
It's literally racism. They're literally trained.
You're projecting
to
your
actually
bias.
go through.
Tell me how they're trained. Have you been through police training?
No, I have not.
I went through police training.
Sure, cool story.
And they do not.
Hey, why you keep dismissing that though? That's important. What the fuck? That's important, gang. Like, what the fuck? Like, if you've never been a manager of a store, like, you'll never know what it's like. You can say, oh, I can imagine. Yeah, imagination is like maybe 50, 60% of it. But it's still a whole chunk of it that's not, you feel me?
Why is it that police officers spend more time in black neighborhoods
They're committing more crimes.
They're not.
Yes, they are.
Who commits the most violent crimes in America today?
Per capita, black
Not
people.
per capita, period.
Fact check. The newest complete FBI race by offense arrest data are for 2024. Among violent crime arrests in the FBI's race tabulation, white individuals accounted for 52%. Wow, because it's more white people in America though, bro. It's more, we're the minority, so it's more of them than us, gang. Like if it was the same amount, okay, cool, but it's more of them, so obviously it's gonna be more crimes. While black individuals accounted for 43.2%. Black Americans represent about 13% of the U.S. population a year, so there's, see what I'm saying? So their share of reported violent crime arrests were roughly 3.2 times their population share. I don't know what that last part means, but
no, white people,
No,
white men,
that's
specifically
a lie.
FBI
Fact check
data.
it.
Fact check it.
Fact-
FBI data shows
over
that
50%.
white men
That's not
specifically
true.
commit the most violent crime in the
That's not
United
true.
States of America. If you're talking
They'll
about
fact check
property
it.
crimes,
No, I'm not
yes,
talking
it's
about-
this is an arrest disparity, not a direct measure of criminal offending, because FBI statistics count arrest events rather than convictions or unique people, and are affected by agency participation, reporting, and enforcement patterns.
I'm talking about violent crimes.
Violent crimes, it's
Violent
white men,
crime.
including CSAM. White men, if you could talk per capita with CSAM,
Come on,
you
they're gonna fact
can
check
talk
you.
numbers. White men disproportionately represent
Murder rate-
CSAM and violent crime.
Murder rate and violent crimes disproportionately
Do you believe in
represent the black
1350?
community.
All right, we're going to have to pause here, so I'm glad you guys took a pause. You have been voted out. Thank you so much.
You need to take minutes.
She's making up stats.
If you would like to be the next debater, get to that chair in 3, 2, 1.
All right, I'm gonna skip to the next one just for the sake of the video. Ooh, I should do this one. I should do this one. I should do this one. Yeah, this will do this one. Yeah, this is gonna be a good one.
Whoa. What's that?
I just built a budgeting app in Base 44.
Guys, we just built an app.
Is used as an excuse to avoid personal. Surrounding claim is that systemic racism is used as an excuse to avoid personal responsibility.
I agree, bro. I agree. Again, people think if you say that, then that means there's nothing out there outside of our control that's holding us back. I would say maybe stigmatization, or like maybe like, what do you call it, or prejudice, like not prejudice, but like when you prejudge somebody like off of stereotype. I would say like stereotypes and stuff hold us back and stuff like that. Because if you're in white community, you don't grow up around black people. If you're in the black community, I didn't grow up around no white people, so all I can go off of is what I see in the media about them. Like, you feel me? I can't. What am I go off of? I ain't been around them, so I don't know. You see what I'm saying? Same thing with every other community. So I do think we're affected by that for sure. For sure, I do think we're affected by that. But in terms of like in 2026, by the way, not 1960, not 1955, 2026. Like, I don't think, if you're talking about percentages, I would argue that it's more percentage of a lack of personal responsibility and accountability. Hence the example I made earlier about somebody having kids in the black community unplanned, or having them when they're not financially ready, and now your whole life is on hold, and now you're playing catch up for forever because you had kids when you weren't financially ready. That's a decision. That's not no government made you have kids. What about that? You feel me? Or, just little stuff. That's a good example. But I personally think that this is true. Obviously there could be stigmas and stereotypes that's against us. Cool, but I wouldn't say that's a societal system. System means something that like somebody personally put in place, like a law or like a policy. There's no laws or policies saying, oh, black people can't succeed. That's not what's going on, okay? That's not what's going on.
If you'd like to be the next debater, get to the chair in 3, 2, 1.
Hello, how are you?
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
What do you mean by systemic? Are you talking about like sociology within our society, or do you mean within the structure of our government?
I'm thinking that people would argue, because I don't feel systemic racism as a part of my life, but I'm thinking that systems or laws
that are put in place
or even that are,
my thing is, name me 5 laws, even if it's 1, but 5, since you know so much about it and you're such a willing to run to the ground about it. Name me 5 laws that preventing you from becoming wealthy in your life. Tell me. That's preventing you from becoming wealthy, from preventing you from buying a great car, having great credit, you feel me, having a great health. What policies or laws are preventing you from doing that? What, because everybody's not a millionaire and a billionaire and everybody ain't freaking celebrity, that means a systemic racism in place? Like, come on, gang. We all had uncles and aunts and cousins and people in our family who make the wisest choices. You feel me? Like, we got to be real about that. That was not the government. Because if that was the case, there would only be black people in poverty or only be black people struggling. There's other races in America, gang, that are struggling, that are addicted, that are this and that. It's not only black people. That's what I'm saying. Y'all have blinders on the only black people, but I can't trust somebody who don't even respect and acknowledge the other races and the other ethnic groups in the world and acknowledge, you know what I'm saying? Because you're like deceiving yourself just to have an argument,
implemented or acted upon
to bring down black people.
Is alleged to bring down black people.
You would say DEI was a hindrance to us, because that's a lot of what Republicans like to argue.
Is DEI part of systemic racism?
That's what a lot of them will believe.
DEI, in my opinion, was the overcorrection of injustices that has happened to black people, which caused, I think, more harm to black people than good.
So systematic racism does exist?
I think in part, systematic racism and racism in America does exist.
Okay, thank you. You literally
I don't think, but my point is that I don't think that it rises to the degree that it affects black people where they cannot be successful in America and they cannot have the same opportunities as others do in America. I don't think it's a primary causation of black people or the things that are elements in the black community.
That's what I just said. Like, does it exist in certain areas? Maybe. Okay, DI is a good example, right? But that's only one thing, gang. Like, if I'm talking about systematic, holding down a whole 13% of America, I'm gonna need more than one policy to do that, gang. You feel me? Y'all can't name me one law, one policy, one whatever, something put in place that said that's going to prevent you from, like I said, having good credit. That means paying your bills on time. That means paying your notes on time. That means, paying loans back on time, stuff like that. That's you. That's not the system stopping you from doing that. There's no policy that's preventing you from saying, okay, I'm going to plan this pregnancy out. I'm going to plan this out. I'm going to plan this. I'm gonna make sure I new to a good neighborhood. I'll make sure I go to a good school. I'll make sure I pay attention in class. There's no system that's preventing you from paying attention in class that gets you to a good school. Like, you see what I'm saying? Like, there's no policies in place that's preventing you from eating healthier, going on that walk after work, going on that treadmill, cutting down on fats, cutting down on sugar. There's no policy in place that's preventing you from doing that. You see what I'm saying? So what do you expect? What, you want black people to dominate the whole world and dominate every area of everything? Like, there's no other good people in the world? That don't make sense. So that's what I'm saying. I'm talking about, you see how I can defend my argument and broke it down to a macro level and get specific. These people can't get specific, and then they'll say they try to ego you and say, "Oh well, I don't have to explain. I don't have to explain it. It just is, bro." You don't even use Google, gang. When's the last time you looked up something, bro? Or a shorty? When's the last time you looked up something on Google on the internet? Show me. When's the last time you looked up something? When's the last time you asked a question? When's the last time you actually read a book? You feel me? You don't even try to receive information. So how do you know all of this? You just get downloads from the earth and the universe. And you don't ever have to read no book. You'll never have to use Google, nothing. You just, it's what I'm saying. Like, people are not educated, gang. They use Google one time a week and they feel like they're educated. Like, no. What the fuck?
The numbers of blacks and marker points to go down and be degenerate.
So I like to think that when we put in red line districting, when we put all that stuff in, we saw that our schools were greatly affected by that. We saw that the systems within the schools were greatly affected in the way that some were more white schools and a lot of white districting, predominantly white districting, were way more economically benefited by the community around them than the black community, who could not afford to grow any kind of economic revenue for themselves within the education system. We weren't able to get certain soccer fields. We weren't able to get different auditoriums for acting and stuff like that. You know, when you're not able to have those kind of like things in your school, how do you expect people to not want to go to the streets? How do you expect them to how do you expect them to invest in things that they cannot afford within their system?
Well, let me give you a perspective here. Not all black people are poor, right?
Well,
it's a diaspora. I know you're not saying that, but I'm saying it's a lot of diversity. So I grew up in a black neighborhood, right? All black people.
And you see how when he said that, she tried to act like, oh, well, I'm not saying that. But you basically was kind of saying that. You're basically, like, I hate when people insinuate something and then act like, oh, I don't know, but I didn't directly say that. Bro, does somebody have to say I'm lying to be a liar, gang? What the fuck? Do I have to say I'm running fast to be running fast? Do I have to say I'm rushing to be rushing? Like, come on, bro. Like, y'all are weird, bro. That shit is weird as fuck, bro. Because it's like, it's weird because you just don't want to be wrong in an argument. So you rather just make somebody seem like they're crazy just because you don't want to be incorrect. Because and the reason why is because when you're incorrect about something, it feels weird inside. And so to avoid that discomfort, you rather put it on me and say, no, you know what I'm saying? Because it's basically what she's saying. A lot of people act like that. They act like, oh, if you're not black, well, if you're really black, I had people say to me like, not even say to me, but kind of insinuated, hit this and that, like, oh, because you ain't grow up in poverty and you ain't grow up with food stamps, you're not black, you ain't really went through the struggle. First of all, bro, no human in life can avoid struggle, gang. If you are born, you're going to struggle with something. Now, maybe financial, maybe psychological, maybe social, maybe spiritual, maybe health, something. You're going to struggle with something significantly, right? So it's not only economic. And they're basically indirectly saying that if you're struggling, that's the only thing that makes, if you're struggling, economic struggle is basically what people be saying is the economic struggle is the only thing that can make you black. And that's obviously not true, because there's people in the Latin community that's broke. There's people in the white community that's broke. There's people in the Asian community that's broke. There's people in the Indian community that's broke. Every Indian person doesn't own no $1 billion gas station company. Like, what are y'all talking about? Like, every Asian isn't just some multi-millionaire, you know what I'm saying? Like, what? Come on, like, other people middle class too, gang. Like, we gotta stop that shit. That shit weird.
Black neighborhood, there are those who succeed and those who do not succeed. There are those who go on and get a good education, even at the same school that I went to. There's some that do well and some that do not do well. In my opinion, that's a perfect example of how I don't think systemic racism has much to do with the success of black people. It's personal decision making. Some of it does have some.
Now, I will say where I see systemic, or not systemic, they're using the wrong word. That's what's confusing me. It's like, I would say like personal stigmas and biases against black people. I give you that, because I can say we don't see a lot of black heads of doctors. We don't see a lot of black heads of, you know, big companies. But part of that may be just, you know, the other people had a head start. Some of it may be qualification. Some of it may be stigma. Who knows? But I do agree that we don't have as many. There's a lot of elite, qualified black people in the world that are not in positions of power over Congress, over this, over that. I agree. I'll give you that one. That one is fair, right? That one is cool. But to sit there and say, like, just because there's no CEO of a head of a doctor that you feel me, head of a, you know, doctor that's a head of a whole big hospital company, that, you know what I'm saying, that there's systemic risk, like, you know what I'm saying, like, that's not the primary reason. Maybe third, fourth, maybe, but not number one. Hell no. Hell no. Well, depending on what field you're trying to go into, right? Because there's more white dominated or black dominated fields. Like, I'm trying to go into entertainment, that's a black dominated field, so I won't really struggle with that. But if I was trying to go into a white dominated field, I may struggle. You feel me? I may have to whitewash myself, you know. So I kind of agree a little bit, but it's not number one. Oh, it's in there, but it's not number one.
You can do good, you can excel, you can be great, and I really do believe that there is a part of your person, you're part of your personality. But I'm saying that there is obviously, you can see that there are less black people that are able to graduate than white people. There are way more white people that are able to graduate.
Racism.
No, you don't. You don't think that that has anything. You don't think that has anything to do with them not being able to afford to continue going to school because of the system.
But that's not. That's just you not being able to afford something. You know other cultures can't afford school too, right? Like, you're acting like, see, that's what I don't like about in our community, like, where they do that, where it's like, bro, you realize that there's other communities that are broke too, bro. There's other communities that can't afford school too, bro. And you do realize that every white person ain't rich, gang. Like, we gotta stop this whole every white person is rich and just has a billionaire dad and just has a dad that's super connected and knows billionaires and could buy him a yacht. That's not everybody's experience. Just people, white people in the middle class, or white people in low class. Like, it's not really. Now, I agree that there's more of them than us, but that's because as black people, we only focus on entertainment and sports to get our wealth. White people, they're not really coordinated like that, statistically speaking, more than black people. So they go to more different fields and try different stuff. Because we're so hyper coordinated and hyper rhythmic, we kind of hyper focus on that, and we don't diversify into other fields. And that's why we don't have as much wealth as well, because we don't go into different fields. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, that's a big one. We got to stop acting like the whole thing of like, oh, if you white, that means you rich. You got a billionaire dad on a boat and a yacht. And if you're black, that means you're poor and you don't have anybody that respect you. You can't get no opportunities and nobody will hire you, and you can't, bro. We gotta stop that shit. That's too. Come on, bro. Like, if you're over a certain age, if you're an adult who's not has been outside that neighborhood or been to different states and been to different communities, you know that's not true. Come on, bro. You know that's not true. Now, if you're a person who's never been outside your neighborhood, never been outside your state, never been outside your family members, okay, maybe you might think that. But anybody who's really been around different, I've traveled a lot, bro. Like, that shit is not true, bro. It's not.
Were put in place.
Okay, I didn't say that. Pause here. I'm so sorry. You have been voted out by the majority. Thank you. Thank you. If you would like to be the next debater to the chair, get there in 3, 2, 1.
All right, guys, we're gonna stop it here. Great video. I could be on this all day, but it's gonna take a long time. So, man, shout out Officer Tatum, shout out to Jubilee, shout out to all the people that came in. I learned some things today. I did learn some things. I didn't know about the stats about Trump. I didn't learn about the stats about the cops. And I would love to do more of this video, but yeah, it's getting kind of long. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna end it right here. Y'all can go check out Jubilee on your own and come with your own topics. But shout out everybody watching. Shout out anybody who clicked on the video. Shout out you. Yeah, like, comment, subscribe, and leave me feedback in the comments. And yeah, AP Reacts, we out.